So to go with this clip and have a listen, if you're smart enough, right? How do you get people to be stuck with them? How does a government system do it? How does an entity do it? How does a group do it? And get away with shit. And put up propaganda to get away with it too. Easy for them. That's how they control the world. They're controlling the world with this shit right now, anyway, people. And it's up to us collectively. Like I've talked about, if you want to get something changed, first it's got to start off with the police. If the police don't want to change it, then you're not going to get nowhere. Then you got to go from the police to the hierarchies, because usually the hierarchies won't change unless they're police enforced, and so on. I've talked about it before with ways to start somewhere, right? To actually get a real start. You want something done for fucking real, right? Instead of going up and taking over the police station like they did overseas. They did it wrong. Right? There's ways to actually do it properly if you've got a group and a proper leader that can come in and talk to these people in these areas and make something happen instead of just coming and going, we want our way, or otherwise we'll bash you and then bash you and take over like what previously already happened. True, people? So, in a way of control, oh, sorry about that. I'm trying not to be like Bella, right? Sometimes you act like people when you listen to them a lot, or sometimes people can just get in your heads. And all sorts of reasons why things could happen. But if it's happening, you want to think about why it's happening. If you haven't got a good excuse why, you need to look at if it's definitely not you, something's getting in your head. You need to figure out what that is. But when it comes to the people, egging on people or get people to set up people, right, is what they do is they do everything I've been talking about. Means you get someone to bully someone, and then you make sure the law doesn't care, and you make sure no one listens, and you make sure the people that do listen, you go pay and keep them hushed or use blackmail, right? And China is pros at this kind of thing, and North Korea and that, right? But we have countries that want to buy off them and look up to them and go, we want to be just like you. We have to buy from you and you've got all the money. That means they look up to them if they're buying from them. True? Or they're using them then, right? It means they could be just as bad as them, right? Depends on what they're using them for. They're using them to find out what they're actually sending them to see if their products is good and legit, right? Like a police officer would do undercover. Or they're using in other ways. Everything's in different ways, isn't it? But you need hierarchies and groups of people to be onto shit. Otherwise it never happens, right? And the best way for the devil to keep things back, and definitely if it's starting from other places, like myself, a poor person, or somewhere else, which God could turn up and will help and do, and all the stories talk about those kind of things. People that get helped are the poorer ones from God when He goes to show a sign, right? So that in this day and age, what would be the best way for the devil to find out with all the money and power and what I was just talking about, and everyone does that, and it's true, we know that, how could the devil stop such a person? Well, he will send all these people in. The only way the devil wouldn't win is that the people themselves don't do the war crimes. Now, why I say war crimes is because when things happen in war, is because they weren't willing to die or be in that moment, which is true. And it is sad, and people do give in in fear. And sometimes you can give in and then try to fix it later, or do your best at it so you can mention it in court and so your sentence is not too bad after the war crimes. Don't join right into it and get right into it, because if war crimes come, you're going to get the full punishment, which is what people did in World War II and got. And some people got away with it because of greed and envy too, because people wanted scientists, and no matter how savage that scientist was, they would hush it because they could make money from certain people. So if they were willing to make a lot of money in a certain sector, definitely it was going to help the government, like rockets and stuff like that. They let certain things go, and mind control and things. Just check out history if you want to get upgraded, right? Because the more you look at history and the more you learn about certain things, it's definitely important when it comes to humanity and what we've done as humans and stuff like that. So there's things you can look at when it comes to docos first. There's plenty of docos out there and plenty of information. But what standard information should be all learned by the end of high school, which we try to teach, don't we? But a lot of people I notice when they leave high school, they don't understand all these things properly and how things fit and how people acted and stuff. They didn't really look at the movie properly. Sometimes when you watch a movie, you need to watch it several times before it sinks in, true? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe all the docos they watch were all too bloody similar, like news channels can be, is why we all can't spread news as good, because all news wants to competition the best news, you see. So they all speak the same. They don't want to be in competition. They could all be linked behind the scenes, which can cause that problem. But only a true investigation can find out these things. And if every organisation that can do these investigations get paid and corrupted, well, it'll only be a facade, which is what I talk about when you do complaints and that. They go, oh, you got a problem, have a complaint. But really, that's not going to stop your kid from seeing things, because you need a lot of you to complain. And if that never happens, well, you're now screwed when it comes to the complaint of what you think is wrong. Anyway, have a good one, and see you later. Like, I thinking that games used to rot your brain. That's what parents used to tell me when I was growing up. But now they'll say, no, let's have ads and whole TV shows of it, and we promote games, and games is pretty cool, right? It just promotes more people to want to play games, right? When you see such things, and people can talk about that, what I just said. Well, we got this, and we got that, and this is doing it, so it can't be too bad, could it? Right? Because humans are good at following, we really are, and trying to fit in. We're good at trying to fit in. We change to try to fit in. So what way do you want to change to fit into what group? And if the group's not there, how can we change to make that group? Have a good one. Bye.